and he went back and I decided instead.
Were you surprised at the ending of the first season where Amon and his brother died when they were going out on the ship when they were escaping?
Was I surprised?
Yeah.
Did I feel like I should stand up to you, listen to me, but did I think that
Were you just shocked that it just ended that dramatically?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was wondering, I know a lot of people asked, and I know Mike and Brian got tired of answering this, but I kind of felt the same way, which was a lot of people asked, is Amon really dead, because it seemed like he was such a great villain, right? I mean, he was awesome, and I think, it was unclear, yeah, he for sure died. He for sure really did die. And yeah, and I think so. And a lot of people were like, "Well, it would have been cool to see more with them." And I think that Mike and Brian have said, we just want, if people wanted to write fanfic or some of the books, that kind of thing, where things continue on. But I think they always had a really. It's tough because sometimes when I do these panels, I wish they were here because I don't want to speak for them. So I try to just remember things that I've overheard them say when I've been doing panels with them. But I think that they really had, obviously we have our core group of people, and of course you've seen some favorites from the first series come back. But I think because they always had a really clear idea of wanting to make each book specific and different and kind of focus on a different thing, maybe they just always kind of thought, well, we'll have that kind of the big bad, if I could steal from Buffy. We'll have the big bad in this one, big bad in this one, big bad in this one, So that's probably why. But yeah, I loved him. I thought he was such a great villain, and that was one of the first things that I noticed about the show, which I respected so much about it, which is true in the first series too, which is these guys don't pull their punches, and they don't have, it's not just oh, the Joker, all due respect to Batman, but the Joker is, what's great about Batman is also, I think, what's great about Korra, which is that here Batman is this very complicated dude, right? But some of the villains aren't necessarily as complicated, at least not in the films or the cartoons depictions. And here Amon is so complicated and kind of has some really good points, and it's interesting. It's interesting that very early on, in the first episode, when we first started recording, I was like, I kind of get what he's saying. Is that weird and bad for me to say as Korra? But I think that just speaks to how great the writing is. Yeah. How about another question?
Not as Korra, but as you specifically, who do you ship?
I know. Everyone really wants me to ship Korrasami. In any way, shape, or form. I think that's wonderful. I think Asami's amazing. I have no issue with that. I would say that old school wise, I'm still a little torn about Bolin because I do love him so much. But I'm down for Korrasami. All due respect to Mako, but me as a person, I tend to not go for the popular jerks. Sorry. But yeah, so I'm more interested in the Bolin type characters, and Asami's rad. I mean, she's she doesn't have bending power, and yet she holds her own with everybody who does, and she's another super strong, impressive female character. Next question.
Hello, Korra.
Hi! I'm sure you probably had an advantage because it's hard to resist that. Anyways,
How do you compare to and your book adventure? Do you go beyond his adventure?
How does Korra's adventures compare to Aang's adventures?
And how do you go beyond his adventure?
How do we go beyond? Well, I mean, for those of you who've watched both series, you know that the kind of challenges that each character faced, I think, were great and specific to kind of what their own strengths and weaknesses are. And someone who was here for my Q&A yesterday, Because I love that question about, like, what if, no one's ever brought that up before, but like, what if Korra and Aang somehow had to switch places and had to, like, she was faced with the Fire Lord and Amon was faced with, Amon was faced with Aang, like, or something in the spirit world or what have you. And I think that, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily about going beyond Aang's adventures, but some of the stuff that they've been able to develop with this series and with with season 2 especially, with kind of the relationship to the spirits and the real world, if you will, I thought was just so interesting and great. And yeah, and again, it's another situation of like, there isn't really a bad that's just like, oh, it's just pure and simple, it's just bad. You know, it's like, it's kind of like they have reason for being angry. And I just think that's so great, you know, again, like complex storytelling. Yeah. How about next question? And if ever you guys want to do shout out answers to each other too, I'm always so interested in like the conversations that the fans are having too.
Hi.
Hi.
I just have a question. In season 1, they showed a bunch of
Oh,
flashbacks.
you know what? I'm so sorry. I just have to grab this really quick. I'm in the middle of a panel. Hello? Hey, who is this? Oh! Hey! Bolin, what's going on? What's happening?
We were just talking about you.
Remember. Everyone wants. Oh, no, you didn't have your brother's scarf on. Oh, sir. Hey, honey, do you have time for a quick question or two from the fans?
Let's do it. What's up, everybody? How are you?
I'm so happy you called. What a surprise. Okay, we have a question for you.
Hi, I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. My question is, in the new series with the new episodes and everything, you're finally getting to discover about your past in your family. How do you feel about that and the tie-in to the environment being so close to Zuko and Iroh from the first series?
Well, first of all, I think anytime anybody, who's sort of been taken away from their family, if you will, anytime they get a chance to sort of reunite and find out where they've come and find out the similarities that you sort of get pulled from, sort of nature versus nurture. So in this case, since we grew up sort of nature, we had similarities to our parents, and it wasn't nurture to us, to our family. So that was always fascinating to me. And then the way the guys wrote it and how awesome my grandmother was, and I had this dream of meeting my grandmother, and then we actually get to meet her. I thought that was fantastic. And I don't think they were conscious of making a comparison to Zuko and all those guys, but okay, whatever fans want to pull from that, that's awesome, and I think we're all for it. So that's the deal with that, and that's an excellent question. So great job. I'm patting you on the back right now.
What did you think about Bolin becoming a mover star? Remember how he gets into the movers, aka the movies? Moving pictures?
What did I think about that?
Yeah. I'm asking you because you're a big movie star now and you work with Martin Scorsese.
I think the cool part about Bolin being a mover star is I don't think he can discern the difference between what's real and what's
That's a great.
He's just absolutely clueless and he loves life and sort of does what everybody tells him to do, and he just loves everybody, and the world is always rosy.
Oh, that's not untrue. That's why I love Bolin so much.
How are you doing? I'm so famous. Are you enjoying Janet Varney being here with you?
Woo!